Psychedelia remix, page 444.
Welcome back to take 444, another dose of Psychedelia. Still in the D's. I intend to try to get around to doing more videos rather than the sporadic way that they're coming out at the moment. I know it's really annoying if you subscribe and you really want to see what's going on in my record collection, and then I don't release any for a few weeks. It's just how life is sometimes. At the moment, in the background, you're listening to Brian Davison. I shall get around to that album a bit later. This is the cover, 1970 album. Very good, very underrated, I believe. But we're starting, we're in the D's, and we're starting, still in the D's, and we're starting with Dark Harvest. First of all, I will mention I've just got a new acquisition, which is a Hapsash and the Coloured Coat designed poster. I'll get around to Hapsash in time. I've got their two albums. This is actually signed by, this is a recent print, this is signed by Nigel Weymouth, who designed it. Hang it up yet, but it's fantastic. It's a really cool UFO poster from '67 with The Move and Pink Floyd and Tomorrow. So you don't get much more psychedelic than that. The Move and Tomorrow and Pink Floyd at the UFO in '67. But yeah, we're starting with Dark Harvest and their album Garden Gate. I think it's their only one. Came out in 2016 on the fantastic Sunstone label. That's a label from the UK if you don't know it. This one is on fluorescent pink vinyl, and that's fine by me. Quite like the coloured vinyl, as long as it's pressed well, which this one is. Yeah, Sunstone are a UK label. They really, I think they're still going. They release stuff of a psychedelic bent and are well worth checking out. Most of the back catalogue is pretty good. I've got a few of their albums, and the ones that I've got are very, very good. They released, I think they did something, released an album by the Greek Theatre, which is a really, really good album. I'll get around to that one day. But yeah, Garden Gate by Dark Harvest. This is sort of a very dreamy, dark, Baroque pop psych album. There's lots of mellotron on it. A bit like a sort of a soundtrack to a dream, really. Male and female vocals. Quite a cool collage sleeve there. And that's the back cover. Yeah, it's certainly worth checking out. Like I said, lots of mellotron and dreamy passages. Next up, we're going to one of the great institutions of British classic rock, and that's Deep Purple. This is their first album, Book of Talazine, and this came out in 1968 originally. It came out in '69 in the UK. It came out on Tetragrammaton in the US and Canada. In the UK and Europe, it came out on Harvest in '69 with the gatefold. This is actually a German press, but it's on Harvest. This was the first album that was released on Harvest, the EMI progressive offshoot. And this is a long way from Machine Head and Made in Japan. This is a progressive psych, lots of John Lord's Hammond on it, and this is the one with, the first three, I think it was, do have Rod Evans on vocals. This has got they were still a bit unsure of their writing at that stage, I think. So this has got cover of We Can Work It Out by the Fabs and River Deep Mountain High. It's a 10-minute, I think it's about 10-minute River Deep Mountain High. It's quite an underrated album, I think. It's got great John Lord cover. But I really like this. I like their early sound. I like their later sound as well, when they became one of the great triumvirate of British classic rock. Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath and Deep Purple were absolutely huge. Deep Purple were an enormous band in the UK in the early 70s, absolutely huge. Up there with Zeppelin and Sabbath. And they don't get a lot of love nowadays, but I really love Machine Head, and I'm not too keen on much they did after Made in Japan, but I really rate those two albums, and Deep Purple and rock. But this is this is the more poppy side, much lighter, and is great. Just check my notes. So this is and next up is I'm only going to show their first two. So this is Shades of Deep Purple. This came out in '68 as well, and on this one is Hush, which was their big hit in the States, and they also do I'm So Glad, Help by another Fabs cover, and a cover of Hey Joe, which is oddly attributed to self-written there, so it's got writing credits for Deep Purple, but of course it wasn't. This is a couple of years after Hendrix did Hey Joe, and they've got some net covering that, but they do a really good job. It's very different, and also their cover of Help is really good. They just make them their own, and if you're put off by the thought of Deep Purple being a sort of psychedelic pop rock band, don't be, because check these two albums out because they're very good. They also do a cover of I'm So Glad. They did have a lot of net. I guess it was Richie Blackmore. Had a lot of net covering I'm So Glad. This is 18 months or nearly a couple of years after Cream's first album, Fresh Cream, which had I'm So Glad, which was a huge staple of their live set. But it's a really good cover, and obviously Richie Blackmore he doesn't get a lot of love these days, but he was a fantastic guitar player, especially early on before he got a bit too histrionic. And I rate Ian Pace as one of the great British rock drummers. Like I say, they're sadly overlooked. They're just not. They're not in vogue at the moment. Deep Purple, but and I can understand why, up to a point, that their later stuff was a bit wanky. But I really love the first 2 or 3 albums. Great stuff. Next up is Dzyan, Electric Silence. So this is an album from 1974. Originally came out on Bacillus Records in Germany. I'm not sure if it was distributed anywhere else. But this is a re-release. I don't have it. I've never seen an original of that. You can see what label this is on, actually. This is on Long Hair Records, I think. That's the label. So this is a sort of a slightly jazzy Kraut. This is their third album, I believe. Third album. Sort of jazzy, but it's very Eastern. Lots of floaty Eastern passages. Quite drony. Great piece of Krautrock. This is the booklet that comes with it, with all the information there, and some pictures of the band. Anybody who's posing in their back garden with a sitar is all right by me. This is quite a well-known record now. Krautrock. Some people call it a masterpiece. I wouldn't go that far, but it's pretty good. I really like it. It's like I say, quite droney, Eastern, floaty, jazzy stuff. If that's your If that's your sort of thing. Cool psychedelic cover there, and the infrared picture at the back. Yeah, check them out. Dzyan. Next up is Delia Derbyshire. I'm going to show her because she deserves her place in the pantheon of psychedelic pioneers. She's pretty well known now. When she died in was it 2007? I got written down there 2007. She didn't get huge accolades, but she really was one of the greatest, I think, pioneers of electronic music certainly in the UK and Europe. Up there with Stockhausen and people like that. This is an album on Phantom Phonographique, a French label, called Dreams, and I shall just, that's her in the, if you don't know who she was somebody who joined the BBC for the BBC Radiophonic Workshop, which was a very small operation of only about 4 or 5 people, who in the early 60s provided electronic compositions for documentaries, children's TV, radio shows, TV theme tunes, and all the like. And the stuff she was doing was light years ahead of everybody else. I mean, it really was. She just set the bar so high. She was doing things with tape splicing and reversing tape and sampling way before anybody else. So this is on clear vinyl, and I'll just read the liner, the hype sticker. It gives you a good idea of what it is. So Delia Derbyshire is one of the most innovative electronic musicians of the 20th century. She's best known for her pioneering work with the BBC Radiophonic Workshop and her composing the classic theme song for the original Doctor Who. She didn't actually compose it. Ron Grainer composed it, but she put it together. He just gave her the melody. That was believed to be the earliest electronic theme song in television history. A brilliant composer and one of the few women operating an early era of electronic music in the early 60s. She collaborated with British artist and playwright Barry Bremage for the BBC's third programme to produce 4 inventions for radio, a collage of people describing their dreams set to a background of electronic sound. This is the first simply titled Dreams, an attempt to represent the sound, sensation of dreaming. Darbisher's electronic and music concrete sound bed is the underscore to the narration, simultaneously jarring, dissonant and terrifying. An amazing piece of work from one of the legendary pioneers of electronic music. I think that's a pretty good description. If you don't know her, check her out, because there's some good documentaries about her now. She really was fantastic. I've got some CDs of hers as well, but this is another album of hers. This is called Circle of Light, again on clear vinyl. This is on Trunk Records. I'm sure everybody knows Trunk Records are really well known in collecting circles. Johnny Trunk. Original electronic soundtrack to a film, but I've also got some other stuff. I've got a couple more which I couldn't find, but I've got them in there somewhere, and I'll get them out one day. So this is a BBC Records called Fourth Dimension. So this is music heard on radio and BBC theme tunes, and also for the trade test card transmission, which anybody of a certain age will remember, with the clown and the blackboard. So this came out in 73, was it? Something like that. Yeah, so this is any record that's called Fourth Dimension that was released as early as that is going to get my vote on BBC Records. 73 it says on the label. And also this one, which is just called BBC Radiophonic Music. This is in mono. This came out in 1971. That's the label. Great thick slab of vinyl, this one. And that's Delia Derbyshire on the back there. So this has got, there's a lot of the BBC Radiophonic Workshop stuff is quite short tracks. This one's got 31 tracks on the whole album, but it's great to listen to. Lovely cover, really like that. They, like I said, Delia Derbyshire died unfortunately in 2007, was it? I said, and she wasn't well towards the last part of her life. Suffered from alcoholism and after a failed marriage. But the other guys who worked with her put up a few years ago a touring band together, just banks of old school synthesizers and sort of VCS3s and tape splicing, tape machines and such like, and Theramins, and went on tour around the UK, and I was lucky enough to see them. I guess that's about 8 or 10 years ago, and they were absolutely fantastic. They're packed house. People paying their respects to a wonderful British institution that sadly is no more. The BBC's money cut by successive governments, and they had to do away with it. And of course, nowadays, most of the things that they did can be produced on Pro Tools and Cubase and such like, for almost nothing, with free plugins and whatnot. But they were the pioneers, and our hats should be lifted in their memory. I think hugely influenced the early Pink Floyd and stuff like that. The early psych scene in London. Paul McCartney was a big fan. Dropped around there a few times to see what they were doing. Got a lot of ideas for the tape loops he did off Tomorrow Never Knows from that kind of crowd, and they should be remembered. Next up is my one and only album, I have to say, by the Dream Syndicate. Very garish cover. I forget the name of the guy who they'd ripped off the cover. American artist. Blatantly ripped off. But this is called The Universe Inside. This came out in 2020. A double album of very long tracks. There's only 2, 4, 5 tracks on the whole album. And it's those are the inner sleeves. It's very good. I don't have any of their earlier Rain Parade, Birdsey, Paisley Underground type stuff. I wasn't hugely into them at the time. This is a very long way from that. This is on red vinyl with the quite cool label. So this is very different. This is kind of like a modern day Soft Machine. It's jazzy, lots of long jammy tracks, quite a lot of sort of Electric Miles Davis influences, bit of Can in there, like I say, Soft Machine, and it's really good. I really like it. They've done one more album since, and check this one out if you like that kind of thing. They obviously started off with the Paisley Underground, like I said, in in mid late 80s, and what's just finished. Actually, I'll go and turn the album over. What's just finished is that was side 1 of Every Which Way by Brian Davison. He was the original drummer in The Nice for the first few albums. Thoughts of Emmylist Dav Jack. He's the Dav in the title of that. This came out in 1970 on Charisma. It's a very early Charisma record, and it's really good. Don't be put off by an album made by a band named after the drummer, because there's a fantastic guitar player on here called John Headley, who I don't know anything else about. I haven't looked him up, but that's the cover. And the singer is a chap called Graham Bell. He plays piano, electric piano, and acoustic guitar, and he's on the vocals. And he sounds very much like Steve Winwood, I think. And this is an album that sounds a lot like Traffic from the sort of 40,000 Headman, that sort of era, Traffic, after Dave Mason had left. I think it's the cover probably looks more like a sort of avant-garde jazz record. It has been issued with a different cover with a lot of pot plants on it, which is probably more like representative of the music they're in. But this is it's a very underrated, great record. Sort of very progressive. It is from 1970, and it sounds very much like 1969, 70 type rock record, and doesn't get much love. And I can imagine that in a different twist of fate, if they'd got pushed by their record company and got some airplay, they could have been huge. But they weren't. But if you can find this, the prices are sort of creeping up on this one. But do check it out, because it's really good. It has that late night vibe, sort of with Nail and I type scenario. It gives that sort of impression. But I really rate it, and I think most of you who enjoy this type of music would really like it too. That's all for now. I shall be spinning some more records and telling you about them very soon, I hope. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all soon. Drop me some comments and some likes if you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.
Colors all in time.